Story in the News of the World on their back page by Neil Ashton, saying that Manchester City and the owners rubber stamped this in a meeting this week to go for Arsenal captain Cesc Fabregas. £50 million, Ian McGarry. A lot of money for one player. Can you see that happening?
No. For two, I'm not debating that, you know, Neil's maybe got this story correct in terms of they want him, but, you know, I would like to have a Porsche, but I don't have one because, you know, I can't afford one. In this case, Fabregas doesn't want to go to Manchester City, and Arsenal won't sell him to Manchester City, so it's never going to happen. What we do know about Manchester City is that they've got unlimited funds, and therefore they can bid for whoever they like, as they have in the past. Kaká said no, David Villa said no, Fernando Torres said no, and John Terry said no, and they'll continue to say no until City establish themselves either in Champions League football or until they get a coach who someone believes actually is going to be there for more than 6 weeks. And that's the problem Manchester City have. It's a lack of credibility. I think they're doing a good job at the moment to establish themselves as being more credible because they're on a run of form now, which suggests they may well make that fourth spot. And when and if they do, there will be an abundance of funds available in the summer for the right manager. And I don't believe Mancini is the man who'll get to spend the money.
You don't think Mancini will be there next season?
Well, his contract lasts until June, and then there's an option for him for another 3 years, and that option he'll walk away with a year's pay for saying thanks very much for 6 months' work, and then they'll try and get Mourinho, and Mourinho will be given the checkbook. Whether Mourinho chooses to go there is another matter, but that's what's in the plans.
Neil's running a story saying that on the list that they want is Ibrahimovic and also Torres as well. Well, that's about 200 million, I would think.
Yeah, they're not exactly aiming low, are they? But I mean, I think it all hinges really on whether they get into the Champions League. I'm not convinced that they could sign any of those three players: Fabregas, Torres, Ibrahimovic. But the quality of players that they would be able to sign, I think, would be immeasurably higher if they're in the top four. If they could offer Champions League football, I think people like David Villa, for example, may be a realistic signing if they get into the Champions League. Many others, but I mean, I think it stands to reason that they would compile a very, very, very long wish list of top class players and see who they can get, because without question, if they make inquiries, they will get top class players. Maybe not the Messis, the Torres, people like that, but they will get anyone who's unsettled at their club, anyone who they think is gettable. I think will be gettable with the amount of money that they're willing to throw around.
It's ironic, isn't it, Matt? Though we've spoken this morning about the loss of English clubs in the Champions League semi-final. Chelsea not prepared to spend an awful lot of money, perhaps, and then here we are with a club like City, with just any money you can get hold of will buy players.
Yeah, but they're not doing it, in my opinion, they're not going about it the right way. The instability with the manager, buying. Their buying policy is questionable. They've just, how many strikers did they buy last summer? They bought Roque Santa Cruz, Adebayor, Tevez. What, they're going to buy more? It's a real slapdash approach. I think the problem is at the very top of the club. I think there's a lack of experience there. In the way they're going about it. There's a very different starting point to Chelsea. Like, the difference is that when Abramovich arrived at Chelsea, they had the core of a very good team. Lampard was already there. Terry was already there. They had good players already. And he added strength to it. When Mourinho arrived, they'd just got to a Champions League semi-final. The difference, City has started from a much lower point, and I think the problem has been the people trying to do it have never done it before, and it's just evident in the way they're going about their business. I don't think they've got. The only reason that Cesc Fabregas goes to Manchester City is for the dosh, and I don't think he's at that stage of his career where he needs to go for the dosh.
Would you expect Fabregas to leave Arsenal though this summer?
Well, the thing is, like, people are talking about Barcelona, but I don't think he gets in the Barcelona team. No. So what's the point of that?
Not until Xavi retires. He's only 29.
Well,
so
exactly.
You have to wait for a while.
Exactly. He doesn't get in that side. So in the same way that he won't get in the Spain team, he's on the bench. Although sometimes they have worked it where they get all three of them on the pitch. But so I don't know. I think I wouldn't be that surprised if he stays where he is.
I was just going to say, I mean, when we talk about instability at Manchester City, I mean, there has only been one managerial change in
So much speculation
nearly.
about Mancini, though, isn't there?
I know, but I mean, weren't they right to leave that sort of get out?
Yeah, nobody questions that.
I would say they're right to do that. I mean, the debate, I guess, is whether they were right to sack Hughes in December, and if they get to
Sven as well.
yeah, but that was the previous.
I know, but it's still
Conveyor belt of unchanged.
But I mean, you know, everything changed, I guess, when the new owners came in. But if you know, if it was the right decision to get rid of Hughes, which if they get into the top four, it you know, it will have been. Would it then be the right decision to look at that, you know, in the cold light of day, think, can we get Mourinho, can we get X, Y, and Z, and just look at that situation rationally? I think that is the right thing. I think it's right to give themselves that flexibility.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens. You know, you mentioned Mourinho.
Well, they need to get a coach who the players would believe in, that they believe will deliver the success.
And the club believe in as well. You know,
well, yeah, but
going to stay.
Well, we're talking about the difficulty of getting players like Fabregas and Torres. If you put Jose Mourinho in charge of any team, you can put him in charge of Scunthorpe, and you get players queuing up to sign for Scunthorpe because they think he's going to bring success, he's going to win things, and we're going to win things with him.
And that's not happening yet.
He's that kind of manager.
Do you think they can get Mourinho though?
He'll definitely leave Inter Milan, and his options are Manchester City and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But if the president of Madrid
Which
continues
one would you go for?
but if the president of Madrid continues to pick the team and sign the players, then Mourinho's going to say no, thank you. If he goes to Manchester City, they'll literally give him carte blanche. They say you do everything.
Yeah, but the attraction of Real Madrid surely is it's the chance to knock, you know, to steal Fergie's line, to knock Barcelona off their perch. but you know,
hasn't he indicated already that Premier League is where he wants to be?
Yeah, but he also wants to win the league in every major country.
Okay.
But he's only 47, Matt, so you could say that Florentino Perez's term as president will come to an end in 3 years. He might go after Manchester City.
I just want to end this week on one of the great performances we've seen for years as Lionel Messi against Arsenal, the 4 goals, that he could become one of the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think it's harsh, but I think he needs to do it this summer. He needs to have a major World Cup to really reinforce that. But
only 22 though, Matt.
Absolutely, absolutely. But no, listen, it was one of those. You know, we were lucky enough to be there, and it was one of those I was there nights. You know, is he the greatest player you've seen so far in your career? Because obviously everyone talks about Pele, Maradona, George Best, Cruyff. Yeah. Well, I was doing my O-levels when Maradona was winning the World Cup. So, yeah, he probably is. He probably is. For me, Henry's the best player I've ever seen in the Premier League, and yeah, Messi is right up there.
I mean, he has a God-given talent that you're obviously just born with this wonderful ability. I mean, the control of him at speed to go past people, the control.
His technique and his balance, I guess, and his ability to check back and forth and score is just, you know, he's an absolute joy to watch. It's a cliche, but he really is a joy to watch. I would say, if you look at his form over the past month, you've got to ask yourself very seriously: has anybody hit that level of form, even for only a month? Over the last
Zamora, surely.
over the last decade or two. I mean, did Zidane, as much as I love him as a player, did Zidane ever have a period where he was so electrifying? The question is, I mean, Matt mentioned about can he do it in a World Cup this summer, but I mean, I think Maradona struggled in a World Cup at 21. You know, it wasn't
brilliant. I think, you know, Matt's point about the World Cup would be fantastic to watch him. I hope he's used properly by Maradona. Good time to end on Messi. Don't forget, if you missed any of today's show, you can hear it again on the Sunday Supplement podcast. My thanks this week to Ian McGarry, Oliver Kay and Matt Lawton. My special thanks, as always, to you for watching, and we'll see you next week. See you then. Bye-bye.